What is up, gamers? It's time to do our tri-annual tier list for the sets of TFT. We're about to go into set 11, and so let's do it. If you're new around here, we do this all the time. We do this at the end of every set, and my criteria for how I'm going to rank these sets are how much I like them. My personal enjoyment. So if you don't like my tier list, then you can suck my big sweaty hog, or instead, I'd like for you to do this instead. Just put the comment in the comment section below of your tier list. I'd love to read it, and it helps me suckle from the sweet teat of the YouTube algorithm. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up is set 1, and for context, I was playing Dota Auto Chess at the time. I started right at the very beginning. And then when TFT got announced, I was super excited. But something I didn't like about their announcement at the time is that they were kind of setting up TFT to be what they called a party game, a game that, you know, like something like Mario Party or something like that, Mario Kart, something like that, where it's like a casual thing you do with your friends and nothing more than that. And I really saw the potential of the game as more of a competitive game and something that people would really want to grind ladder for and can have a lot of replayability. And so I was kind of bummed out when they said that was their direction of the game. And at the time, that made sense to me. But let's just say at the time, I tried it out. I played a lot of PvE. I'd say I probably played 100 matches total of this set. I was working a full-time job at the time. And so set 1, it wasn't really that much for me. So it's actually going to go down into... It's going to go into the C tier, and I didn't talk about this already, but anything below B tier is something I would rather not play again. If they re-released it, I probably would not play it. And then B tier is fine. It's acceptable. I'll enjoy it. I'll make plenty of content. And then A and S are going to be sets that I really enjoyed playing and wanted to make a lot of content for. So here is set 1. It was okay. Next up is set 2, Rise of the Elements. And I go really back and forth on how I rate set 2. Set 2 can be a little bit controversial. Some people really like it. Some people don't. Personally, I played a lot less of this than I played of set 1. I only played about 50 matches. And again, it just was, whenever I played set 1, the game felt like really incomplete. It didn't feel like the experience that I wanted to. I believed in the future of the game, but it just wasn't quite for me. And set 2 was just a lot more of that. It still just, I felt like a pretty incomplete game. Still felt like the devs were really trying to figure out what they were trying to do. But this was the first time they introduced a set mechanic. We had the rotating elemental hexes, and that has kind of had some staying power with the game with some other mechanics that we've had in the future. So some foundation was laid in this set. So I have some love for this, and I'm actually going to rate it slightly below set 1. Now, this is actually the second time I filmed this video. I filmed this video a couple weeks ago, but I wasn't satisfied with the filming. And at the time when I filmed it 2 weeks ago, I put set 2 above set 1. So I really go back and forth on this, but it'll go down the C tier, solid, but would rather not play it again. And next up is set 3. So this is the first set that has a mid set. In the future mid sets, I will categorize sets differently from 3 and 3.5 or 4 and 4.5. All the ones that have a mid set, I will rank them separately. But for set 3, I actually didn't play set 3. I started really grinding TFT again in set 3.5. And this is just because I was working a job where I was traveling around the country, auditing water parks. So I just had no time to be on my computer, no time to play anything. And I don't think TFT Mobile was out at this time. Not that I would have played it anyways. But so we're going to rate set 3 and 3.5 together. 3.5 is the first time I ever hit like what I would consider to be high elo. I was actually garbage at the game. Just the second or first patch of this, maybe it was the first patch, was the Rebel patch. And Rebel patch, I just climbed infinite. I just watched some VODs. This is the first time I actually like watched other gameplay to get better. I think I watched like a lot of Keen and a lot of Saint Vicious, and I got a lot better at the game. And then I climbed up to Grandmaster, which was pretty hype. And the game I hit Grandmaster, it was kind of cool because I would watch Keen all the time, and I played a match against Keen, and I went first place in the match. I was terrible at the game, but this is the first time I hit Grandmaster, and so I had a lot of fun, and I just really enjoyed the game. I wouldn't have grinded to Grandmaster if I didn't enjoy the game, but I ended up playing like 200 matches of this. I even started making a little bit of content, but at this time, I was actually just quit my job, and I was dabbling in doing some like League of Legends content. I was kind of in between careers. I was starting to study as a personal trainer, which is actually something I'm studying right now again. And yeah, this is a weird point in my life, but this is when I first felt like, hey, maybe I can make some TFT content. This is going to go all the way up into the A tier for sure. And now on to set 4. If you guys have been following my channel for any amount of time, you'll know how much I love set 4. And set 4 is going to be a very interesting one to rank today because it has the same mechanic as our current set. This set is the first time we had Chosen. In the current set, we have Headliner. They're a little bit different, but mostly the same if you guys didn't play in the past. And at the time, and I said this at the time when we got past this set, I really enjoyed Chosen. Like I really had a lot of fun. I think it added a cool dynamic layer to the game. Felt very different than past sets of TFT. I thought it actually had a lot of creativity into the game. Like I played a lot of Janna Chosen when nobody would play Janna Chosen. They would only want to play the 4-cost Chosen. I almost won the Team Liquid Open. I got second place in the Team Liquid Open, and I qualified for a professional, for the third day of a professional tournament. That's when they used to have a open qualifier route in North America into the pro scene. And so I took I was a master player. I wasn't very good, but I was able to do some really creative stuff and I kind of climb above where my natural rank was. And I got very close to Challenger in the set. I had so much fun. And so before I rate it, I'll say my opinion about Chosen, because I think this will have a little bit of foreshadowing for later as well. At the time, whenever I played this, I really liked Chosen. But by the time we got to 4.5, and we'll talk about this in a second, I didn't like Chosen as much anymore. It had gotten kind of solved. People optimized around it. And something you guys need to know about TFT, if you guys just started playing in the past few sets, people used to be a lot worse at TFT. Like a lot worse. I can't really explain it exactly, but if you guys have played, like, for example, League of Legends for a long time, you know, back in the day, if you did an insect play on Lee Sin, that would be like a crazy play to make. But nowadays, you'll see that in silver games. And so same thing kind of happened with TFT is people got like a lot better at optimizing strategies nowadays, and a lot better. Like everyone has like the basic fundamentals all the way, like even in Master, people have pretty good fundamentals now. Back in the day, like you wouldn't hit people with good game fundamentals until you're like high Grandmaster. A lot of times, honestly, like for real. And now actually a lot of master players have decent fundamentals, or they like understand the meta really, really well and understand the stats and stuff like that. So the game was a lot different. It was a lot, so like creativity was a lot more of a thing. And so Chosen was really nice for that at the time. And so this is going to go in the S tier. This is my favorite set. So to, to not give anybody too much suspense, this will be the #1 rated set for this tier list. Nothing's going to take it off the top. There was a time in my life where set 6 was my favorite, but set 4 squarely goes here now. And so like we just talked about, going into set 4.5, 4.5 I liked a little bit less than set 4. Just like I just said before, the Chosen mechanic I thought got kind of solved by 4.5. And this is when I really felt like, hey, I really like Chosen, but maybe we shouldn't have this return to the game. Maybe that's a little bit of foreshadowing for set 10. But still, I enjoyed the theming of this set. I really had a lot of fun playing Darius and playing Fortunes. That was a lot of fun. But something I really didn't like about this set, and I didn't mention on set 4, the reason why I like set 4 so much is not just the Chosen mechanic that I liked at the time, but because the units were so much fun. All the 4 costs were awesome. Riven, Jhin, Ashe. I mean, Ashe is my favorite unit of all time. Hunter Ashe. So much fun. And in this set, moving into 4.5, they added a lot of what I would consider to be very annoying units. So like Asol was a unit that I played a lot, and Asol would one-shot the board, or he was useless. And so I'd play a lot of Asol. He was very meta, and I found that it was really annoying playing Asol into things like Aatrox, Sejuani. Aatrox really was OP at the first half of the set, and if you didn't know at the time, he would hook you, and it was a delayed hook. It was very hard to position for because your units will like randomly move sometimes, and you can't clump because Tryndamere spins into the biggest clump. So if you ever got mashed up into a Slayer comp and you were playing Asol, it just felt really bad. Every matchup you don't match up into a Slayer comp, you wanted to be in the corner. And then anytime you match up into a Slayer comp, you wanted to be second hex. But like your units would still move, but if you position second hex, Tryndamere spins into you, Aatrox pulls your corner unit, Samira blows up your board. There was a lot of just really unfun things I found in the set, and then also Chosen got very, very, very well optimized at this time. So 4.5 is actually going to go into the B tier. I think in the past I've rated this lower, but honestly, if it came out today, I would kind of enjoy it. I think I was just a little bit burnt out on Chosen at the time. I did hit Challenger in this set. It was the first set I hit Challenger, and so you guys right now can say that I don't just rank sets based off of how well I ranked in them, because I ranked much higher in Fate and Festival of Beasts than I did in set 4, and we're still rating it in B tier for all you haters out there. And next up is set 5. Let's talk about the positive of set 5 real quick. I thought set 5 had some fun units. Like I think Aphelios was cool. I think Dawnbringer Karma was cool. I think Misfortune Cavaliers was cool. I like Cavaliers. I think it had some interesting, that was a cool trait that was introduced. Now let's talk about the negatives. The shadow items. This was a terrible mechanic. If you guys played at the time, it was like probably the least balanced the game has ever been. Dark Blue Buff LeBlanc is all I need to say. It sends shivers down my spine if I see that item or see that thing. It is pretty insane. So set 5 is going to be rated pretty low. Let's just be real. One thing I liked, I did like the theming of the set. Thought that was cool, but yeah, this was not fun. I climbed to, actually, I don't think I hit Challenger in this set. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't really remember. But I had to take a break during the set. No, what I did, I played like 200 matches, then I took a break. I got like 1 game off Challenger here. And this is going to go down into the C tier. I still like the theming. In the past, I've rated this my least favorite set, but over time, it's kind of grown back on me. I think my recency bias made me really hate it at the time, but it was okay. One thing I really didn't like about it was all the verticals you had to play. Like if you had a 2-star Leona at the beginning of the game, you're playing Redeems. If you had a 2-star Vayne, you're playing Forgottens. Like there was not very good comp creativity. And then if you got a dark blue buff, you just force Rise or force LeBlanc. There was a lot of things that was like really imbalanced, but we started to have the seeds of some good things like armories and that sort of thing. All right, 5.5. As much as I didn't like set 5, I really liked 5.5. As I just said in the last set, they built upon some foundational things. I still thought some of the units were pretty cool. I liked playing Varus. I liked playing Aphelios. And so I think they built upon some good things. Karma was still in this one. And then they added Radiant items. So Radiant items was the mechanic here, and they really developed the armory system a little bit better. So anvils, what you guys have now, the genesis of that was in set 5 and set 5.5, and they switched it from shadow to radiant items. And then they also, I believe this is the set with the stimmy. So whenever you go down to 40 health, you get the radiant blessing, which is now a portal in the current set. So a lot of foundational things that we've taken into later sets that are better. And 5.5, I actually really like this set. I climbed to Challenger here. I think I got like 900 LP or something like that. I really liked playing this set, and it's going to go up into the high A tier. I definitely like this set a lot. And next up is set 6. Set 6, that is the first set with augments. It was the big turning point for the game. If you guys were playing TFT at the time and you've been playing TFT for a long time, you'll definitely know, you've definitely felt how popular TFT has felt and how sometimes it doesn't feel very popular. And so like set 1 was super hype, set 2 went real down, set 3 kind of built a little bit of hype, and then set 4 really popped off. And then it went down again with 4.5, with 5, 5.5. You know, 5.5 was great. Wasn't very hype. People were already burnt on the game. And then set 6 came along and, dude, comboed with the branding with Arcane, like everything League was really hype at the time. So comboed with Arcane, and then comboed with it added augments, which was the biggest change to the game, the biggest fundamental change to the game. And I imagine we'll have augments for the rest of the life of the game. It's been an awesome change, added a great amount of replayability and depth to the game, really made the game feel a lot more competitive. And for casual players, can let you do some interesting stuff. And so set 6 is going to go all the way up into the S tier. This was an awesome set. At one point in time, I rated it my favorite set, just how much I love the introduction of augments. And as much as I love set 6, I'm going to be very quick with set 6.5 because I don't remember much about it. Some sets just don't function in my memory. I climbed a Challenger in both of these sets, both 6 and 6.5. So I performed quite well in these. I just remember really not liking set 6.5. I don't remember anything about it other than that Silco was in the game, and I think he was a legendary, and Renata Bruisers was in the game, and that was an annoying comp. I really don't remember anything else about it. I think maybe the augments were not as fun, or maybe augment power was too strong. I don't remember. I just remember this set being absolute dog shit, like absolute dog shit. And it's going to go in the high D tier. I think it's going to be the highest one we have rated for D tier at the end of the list, but we'll see. Maybe we'll bump it up to C tier because I think there's some sets I liked a little bit less than this one. And next up we have set 7. So 6.5 was really kind of the beginning of the end for me. Near this time, I actually ended up taking a break from TFT, but not quite in set 7 yet. So set 7, I still played a lot, climbed to Challenger. And so set 7, with a positive I'll give it real quick, is I think the theming was really cool. Dragons were really hot at the time. I think it was around like Game of Thrones season finales or something. Everything was dragons, right? So dragons were really hot at the time. I think the dragon units, which was the mechanic of this set, I think they were really cool. Like I thought they were cool units. Like Deja is super cool, Shoyu super cool, Syphan is super cool when you're the Syphan player. Shyvana was cool. So I thought the units were cool. However, and Dragon's Blessing was cool. So the Dragon Armory, I thought that was awesome too. I think it was a great addition to the game and was a fun mechanic. However, comp creativity was at an all-time low in this. Like set 5 was pretty bad for comp creativity, but this was really bad because the problem was every comp needed to support a dragon. It was very rare that you played a comp that didn't support a dragon because it was the big mechanic of the game. They wanted you to play it. And the problems with dragons were twofold in this set. So dragons have a built-in Colossus, so meaning they take up 2 spots on your team. So anytime you have something that takes up 2 spots on your team, that limits the amount of flexibility you can have with the rest of your comp. So if you have a level 7 comp, you can only play 6 units. You have a level 8 comp, you can only play 7 units. So you can obviously see how like every game would turn into, if you're playing like show you the same, you're gonna have the same board supporting them because there's just not much room for variability. And then if you have Deja, you're gonna have the same board unless you play the full dragon comp or something like that. And so that was really unfun. And this is also, they limited it to where in this set, you could only play one dragon per comp unless you had the Dragon Horde or the Dragon Alliance augment. So even then you couldn't get that flexible. And so that was really unfun to me. The other problem with dragon that was really bad in this set is that dragons were so goddamn expensive. So if you wanted to play there were only 4 and 5 cost dragons, but the 4 cost dragons cost 8 gold and the 5 cost dragons cost 10 gold. So that was pretty crazy, because what it meant was you couldn't hold multiple units on a single roll down. So if you were trying to do like a 1-turn transition or even a 2-turn transition and you have 50 gold that you're rolling on 8 or 60 or 70 or something like that, it's very difficult to hold pairs of another dragon. So if you're like rolling down and you're willing to play Siphon or Shoyu and you're trying to hold them both and you don't hit a 2-star of one of them and you have you have a pair of each, motherfucker, that is 32 gold on your bench. That's crazy. 32 gold in unit value. You have to just sit on your bench. And then they use different supporting units. So like that felt really bad. One thing I did like about this set is it did have support units like Lulu. This is one of the last sets that I think have true support units. TFT definitely has a philosophy now that they want every single unit to deal damage. Just think about Lulu now. She's a support unit in set 10, but she can also one-shot your backline and at the beginning of the fight sometimes if she's angled correctly. They definitely changed their philosophy after this set to they want every unit to have value with like a death cap or some shit. Personally, I love support units, and I think that the disillusion of support units in the game has been a big detriment to me. So that's one positive I'll give it. And so I'm going to put this in the middle of, you know what? I'm going to put it high. I'm going to put it just above set 2, I think. Just above set 2 in the C tier. I'm just thinking back, I thought the units were cool. And again, I just remembered having the support units in the game I thought was nice. Now on to set 7.5. So I did climb to Challenger in set 7. In 7.5, I also climbed to Challenger again. I've hit Challenger, I think, 7 different sets, counting the 0.5s, I think. I don't know. I don't keep count anymore. I kind of just play for fun now. But in this set, I definitely still was trying to be a little bit competitive and was playing for fun. As much as I dislike dragons, they addressed it a lot. The problems that I had in the previous set, they made a 3-cost dragon. So it only cost 6 gold. The 8-cost dragons were now 7 gold, and the 10-cost dragons were now 8 gold. Or I think it was either 8 or 9. So it made it a little bit easier to play more flexibly. And I believe in this set, they got rid of the fact you could play multiple dragons if you wanted to anytime. So they changed the balance of dragons. And then the 3-cost dragons made it to where you could hit dragons more reliably on stage 3. That was another problem, is that you had a small chance of hitting a 4-cost dragon on like level 6, just like how you can hit a 4-cost now on level 6 sometimes. And it definitely happens. And it would just give you the freest mid game if you just hit a Siphon and you had Siphon items on stage 3. You could roll for nothing else, roll once, hit a Siphon, and you're stable. So that was something that was really annoying. And so when they added the 3-cost dragons, it made it to where it was more reliable to stabilize around a dragon. Even if someone hits a 4-cost, stabilizing around Skippy was pretty good as well. I really liked playing Skippy. He was fun. So another thing I really liked about the set, I loved playing Lagoons. I thought that was a very, 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 very fun econ trait. And I one-tricked that to Challenger when no one was playing it, when everyone said Lagoons was trash. Yeah, I one-tricked the Challenger. That was so much fun. This was one of the last times I really climbed in a set doing some very counter meta strategies. Nowadays, the game is so optimized and I just don't play as much as I used to. It's very hard for me to climb with super off meta strategies, but this set, I was able to do that. So this one's actually gonna get rated into the low B tier. I think it's the highest I've ever placed this one before. And it's very surprising to me because at the end of the set is when I quit. I took a break. I just had too many bad sets in a row, man. I mean, 5 was not good. 5.5 was good. 6 was awesome. 6.5 was dog shit, absolute dog shit. 7 was terrible. And then 7.5 was really just average. And I was getting very burnt out on the game at this time. And honestly, my content was doing great. I wish I wouldn't have quit because like my YouTube was like really popping off and YouTube wasn't really that competitive for TFT at the time. And I wish I would have been able to have some hindsight, but I did have to take a break here. And I just took a break and just started working out a bunch and started getting my health a little bit better in line. But you know, looking back now, this was a big opportunity for my YouTube channel to really take off. I was getting a lot of views on my channel at the time. So that's all to say. We went into set 8 and I did not play set 8. So this is another one that we're going to combine 2 sets together, set 8 and set 8.5. I started playing set 8.5 just because when I started to hear whispers of what was going on with set 9 and that Riot had expanded their TFT team. This is around the time whenever they had their new building. They hired like they like doubled their staff. I know there's been some Riot layoffs, but still, like the investment in TFT was huge. And even after the Riot layoffs, they still doubled down on the investment in TFT. So I wanted to get back in the game. I was like, man, all right, I still want to be a part of this community. I want to come back into this. I'm gonna give TFT another chance. I feel like I was just burnt out from the kind of a bunch set fatigue. You know, there's a bunch of bad sets in a row. So set 8, I really did not like this. This is my least favorite set. It is my least favorite mechanic. Hero augments, I think, is the antithesis of flexible play. So what I define as flexible play is it's the amount of decisions you have to make throughout the game, and like decision variability in terms of how important the decisions are. I want that to be as close as possible. So you had one big decision to make in this set, and that was what your hero augment was. The other decisions mattered way less than this one decision, and that's something I really don't like. I think that is the opposite of flex play, the amount of decisions you have to make, or how important your decisions feel. So this is my least favorite set. It is going to go all the way at the bottom. We will have nothing rated lower than this one. And now we are on set 9. This is when I made my triumphant return to the game. I was very hyped to play this. One of the most hyped I've ever been for a set, just because I'd just taken a break for like 8 months, and so I really wanted to get back in the game, hit the ground running. And this is when I really felt when I came back to the game that, like, man, people have gotten a lot better at the game, because I took almost a year off or so, like 6 to 8 months, something like that. And when I came back, I had lost some skill, and the average skill level of a player had gotten a lot better. So just to give you guys context, back in the day, like set 4, set 5, even set 6, set 6 for sure, and set 7, all the way up till set 7, I could like play the game. I could be stoned, I could be drunk, I could be doing my taxes on my second monitor, I could be watching The Office on my third monitor, and be playing like the most off meta garbage and hit Grandmaster for free. For real. Nowadays, like going into set 9, now I had gotten worse at the game, but everyone had gotten better as well. I really had to sweat for Grandmaster, really. And even today, I have to work really hard to hit Grandmaster and then sweat super hard to peak Challenger. Whereas before it was a lot easier for me. So I definitely felt that. I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion about this set. Honestly, I can't remember a whole lot about it. Set 9 and set 9.5. Usually the most recent set, except for the current one we're playing, is the one I have the least amount of memory of. I don't know why my brain works that way, but I just wipe it and I remember later. So I really don't remember much about this set other than how I felt when I played it. And I did not feel good when I played this. So this is gonna be a really unpopular opinion. And I can't remember, I just really can't remember anything about the set other than that Legends were introduced. And I didn't really like playing Legends. TF Legend was not fun. I hated that shit. And so this is actually going to go in the C tier. It's going to go, I'd say I'll put it right below set 1, just above the Dragon set. Just above set 7, and that's where it will stay. And set 9.5, I think most people liked set 9 a lot more than 9.5. I can't exactly remember why. Again, I don't remember anything about set 9. I remember they added Gangplank here, I think, in set 9.5. Yeah, I don't really remember. I grinded up the Challenger in this set. I played a lot more of this set than I played of 9. I just remember having more fun. And so that is why 9 is going to go into the B tier. I had a lot of fun playing this set. I know some people will disagree, but I had a lot of fun. I know TF at the end of the set, multicasters and stuff became very oppressive. But I think the reason why I have a positive opinion of this, whereas other people don't, is I stopped playing about halfway through during the set. Like I think I played it for like 4 to 6 weeks, grinded up the Challenger, and as soon as the TF multicaster patch hit, I just stopped playing. And I knew set 10 was going to be popping, so I just wanted to take a couple weeks off before I was about to grind really hard for set 10. And I think that's why I really enjoyed this set, because I think the first half of the set was really fun. And the moment we've all been waiting for, set 10 Remix Rumble. This is, I would say, the second most hype I've ever been for a TFT set. So as I said, set 4 is my favorite set, but it kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was playing 3.5 and then set 4 released, and I was like, whoa, this is fun. Like I really didn't get a lot of pre-information. And then set 6, that was hype around the arcane branding and everything, and like the introduction of augments. And when I played on PB, I was like, whoa, the game is complete now. Like I was talking about earlier, the game felt really incomplete. Set 1 and set 2. Set 4 is when it really started to ramp up for me. And then set 6, I was like, I'm playing the game I always knew I wanted to play. And set 10 was a return to the headliner or chosen mechanic. So going into this, I was really hyped because I thought the branding around it, everything, like Remix Rumble, I thought that was cool. I thought the music theming was cool, even though I'm going to turn off the music. For casual players, I thought it was awesome. It was like really fun for the first 100 games. I left the music on, and that was cool. After that, kind of got boring. But for the casual experience, that must be awesome. The collabs with Steve Aoki, the promotion of the game at Worlds, at League of Legends Worlds. Like, there was so much hype going into this, and I had a lot of fun at the beginning of the set and with everything in this. I had so much fun doing PvE as well. Like, it was just a vibe at the beginning. Now let's talk about Headliner. So going into this set, I was very cautious about Headliner. I held the same opinion that I held during set 4.5. I had said this mechanic is already solved, and at first it's going to feel very fun. It's going to feel like you play really flexibly, and then like the optimization is going to feel really bad. So something that feels really bad about this set is if you guys know how dopamine works, when you anticipate a positive outcome, for example, like I'm playing a game where like I have a really good like line into playing like, I don't know, Yone reroll or some shit. I'm just making shit up right now off the top of my head. I have a really good line to play Yone reroll, and then I go and roll for Yone, and I roll 70 gold and I just can't find the Yone chosen. The only one I can find is Heartsteel, and it's not going to be good enough. And I do all the stuff I'm supposed to do to find it, and I just don't find it. And then another game, I'm on the same line and I hit it in one roll, and the game is a guaranteed first. The other game I played so much better and I got a 6th. So the way dopamine works, if you have this is one way that dopamine works. If you have an expected outcome and you're anticipating it, and then you don't have that outcome fulfilled, that positive outcome, and then not even you not have it fulfilled, you have the opposite, you have a negative outcome, it lowers your baseline dopamine, which makes you feel fucking terrible. It feels so fucking bad. And then when you anticipate something good happening and then something average happens, then it becomes lower than if you never anticipated it in the first place. So I think this set, Headliner and Chosen, the mechanic is so impactful, I legitimately think it makes me depressed. So like this game, like to grind it legitimately makes me depressed. So I played the first half of it when I was having fun, and as soon as I stopped having fun, I just took a break. I've taken a break for the past 3 weeks, and so I essentially only played half of this set. Now, with all that said, I still think this set was really cool, and for the time that I did enjoy it, I really enjoyed it. And that's why it's actually going to go in the very low A tier. It's actually going to stay right where it is. Right where it is. I'm not moving it at all. Because it deserves to be barely in the A tier. If they re-release this set again, I would have a lot of fun, but only would have a lot of fun for a few weeks. And then again, I would get Headliner fatigue. That's it, guys. What do you think of my tier list? Put your tier list in the comment section below. Again, this is just personal enjoyment. If I was making this tier list on how well I think this set was designed, or how good I think it was for competitive, or whatever, the set would look a little bit different. But that's my list. Put your list in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next one.